The poem Remember Medusa, written by Eunice de Souza, right, is a short but powerful one, right? Powerful poem that explores, you can say, emotional numbness, right? Emotional numbness that you can say that you are completely idle uh, or still thoughts, loneliness, and you can say that what those of the things present in someone seem like what suffering, seem like suffering, isn't it? And this suffering is referred to a woman, isn't it? And this suffering belonging from a woman, isn't it? So why? Because she has endured too much. Endured means tolerate. She has endured too much, and through the you can say that the mythical figure. What do you mean by mythical figure? So figure which is indicating as a myth, mythological, what you can say that mythical figure of Medusa, right? The poet tries to draw attention to how society can turn emotional pain into something feared, right? So misunderstood, or you can say ignored. So this poem is deeply yet universally relatable, especially to anyone who has experienced long term emotional pain or isolation. So you can say the theme of the poem is what? The conflict between emotional numbness and the need to feel. Emotional numbness and the necessity to feel. Right. So even if the feeling is your pain, you must feel that, isn't it? The poet reflects on what? How loyalty and emotional silence, loyalty and emotional, uh, you can say, silence that can lead to a frozen, lifeless state of being. She compares herself, the poet, Eunice de Souza, compares herself to Medusa, isn't it? So, who is Medusa? A woman who is known for her ability to turn others to stone, right? But the poet focuses not to Medusa's power, so but her inability. What is her inability? Her inability to love. Her inability to love, isn't it? Even herself. So this version of Medusa, you can say, becomes a symbol of deep in eternal suffering. So, or internal suffering, you can say, not evil. And D'Souza suggests that what feeling anger, sorrow, sadness, and emotional pain is better than feeling nothing at all. It's better than feeling nothing at all, isn't it? So the poem also highlights what how writing and words become a means of survival. Becomes a mean of survival because when you suffer from some kind of a pain or agony or called as a pa- uh, that's anxiousness. So what's your job? Your job is to what? How you can reduce that. And you can reduce through your words and writing. Isn't it? So because that's what the poet stated, writing and words are nothing but the means of survival. Right. And as you can see when you read the poem and in the final lines where it is clearly stated, each lifeline, each lifeline of words, years in the making. These words are not just expressions, they are life-saving connection to her own identity, isn't it? So that indicates you. And in this poem, actually, you would find out many of the things, the tone and the mood. The tone of the poem is what? Introspective. When you say that introspective means what? It's a provoking, it influencing, it makes you certain insightful, deeply observing, deeply thoughtful, right? It makes you feel sad and also quietly powerful, right? So there is a sense of what resignation. Resignation means what? Dejected yourself or resigned from certain things, right? So, as if the speaker has accepted her emotional state, but still desires for what? Still desires for meaning, right? At the same time, there is also strength and resistance. Strength and resistance, especially in her choice to express herself through poetry. That's called the writing and words, isn't it? The mood created is one of the mood, the tone we find out that. So the mood created is, you can say, one of coolness, right? Coolness and you can say inner struggle, stillness, isn't it? So what's like frozen heart, what's like frozen stare, frozen heart, frozen stare, and abyss, ABYSS, abyss. Those create a dark and you can say lonely atmosphere that reflects the emotional state of the speaker, isn't it? So we can also see that uh, the kind of uses of me. Myth means what? Something which is not reality. So how it is used with the myth? The myth is used because we take the character Medusa, right? Or Medusa as a symbol, isn't it? So you find out that one of the most important features of this poem is the use of Medusa as a symbol, right? So traditionally, Medusa is seen as what? As a dangerous monster. Medusa is seen as a what? A dangerous monster. But the poet reimagines her as a tragic figure, right? Tragic figure, a woman who cannot love or be loved, isn't it? So by asking, remembering Medusa, the poet challenges the readers to look at Medusa differently. Look at Medusa differently. Now we understand in Ramayana when we talk about Rekha, right? The character. So who wants, means who have the nature of loving, isn't it? But she is not being loved, isn't it? So, like that, Medusa is like a symbol who is considered as a dangerous monster, and she cannot love and she is not beloved, isn't it? So, and that's what is called as a kind of a challenge. And poet wants to convey that look at in her aspect. If you see that, means look Medusa in a different manner. How? Now, not as a villain, but as someone broken by her own pain and rejection, isn't it? Now, understand Rekha in the same manner that not on the basis of what is dangerous, but at the same time, when somebody rejects her love, what kind of a pain and what kind of a rejection she has, isn't it? Isn't it? So, in this way, you can find out the point also becomes a feminist reflection. You can consider again another point of feminist reflection on how society often, you know, you can say that what demonize, or demonize, you can say. So society often demonizes. Demonizes means demonize. D is nothing but called as a down, or demonizes is called as showing cruelty. Showing cruelty towards a woman, right? And who show pain, who show strength, or you can say who show silence, and without understanding the reasons behind them. Isn't it? Like she tells me the point of her pain, her, you can say that her silence can be identified, her strength can be identified. So in that case, we need to understand the reason behind it. But we take it in the other way, isn't it? So that's the kind of a thing that the poet tries to justify through the point, right? Now, let me talk about the justification of giving the point, right? Title like Remember Medusa. If you see that what the point talks about what deep emotional pain and loneliness a person feels when they remain loyal for too long, isn't it? Now, to try to understand deep emotional pain and loneliness one feels when one means remains loyal for too long, right? So, even when you can say that that loyalty leads to suffering, isn't it? Now, woman who is completely loyal towards her husband, right? So And that's the kind of advantage husband takes. And husband shows nothing but the kind of a means of pain uh, and his dissatisfaction, his outside problem towards her, right or not? So, but she took it in a different manner. She means suffers, but she doesn't express that, right? The poet uses strong images and comparison to express this painful experience through the poem, right? So, you can say that what if you say that the poet when gives the title Remember Medusa, the poet asks this question, right, in the title, isn't it? So question mark is given, Remember Medusa. So which immediately makes the reader curious. Curious means interesting. Why? Now, because who is Medusa? Isn't it? Who is Medusa? And why Remember Medusa is given as a question mark to the readers. So if you see that Medusa is a figure who, from Greek mythology, right? So she had snakes for hair, right? So she had snakes for hair. You must have seen that kind of a picture. Means the girl who have the hair, but that hair is filled with nothing but the snakes. So, and anyone who looked into her eyes would turn to stone. Turn to stone. It means you cannot look at her eyes. If you look at her eyes, you will turn stone, isn't it? And she is often seen as a symbol of fear, symbol of loneliness, and being cursed, isn't it? So, but some modern interpretations also show that. Modern interpretation also show that means so that what or show her as a woman who was deeply, you can say, wrong. Deeply wronged means deeply misunderstood, right? So she is being kept isolated and she is being uh, lived that she unable to love or be loved by anyone, isn't it? Now, do you understand why who is Medusa now, right? So second is called as why the poet refers to Medusa. Why does the poet use the name Medusa? Now, if you see that the symbol of emotional numbness you can find out when you talk about the character. So, like Medusa state turned people to stone. So the poet talks about emotional freezing. Emotional freezing. So it means a human being are or men are emotional freezing. They don't have emotion, right? A heart that is cold, a heart that doesn't see the emptiness present in the opposite partner, and a life without feeling. Who have? Men. Men have. So, second, it's called as a loss of love. Loss of love and self worth. Loss of love and self worth means if you read the line where it is stated, who could not love even herself? Who could not love even herself? It shows that the poet sees a part of herself in Medusa. So, someone who has lost the ability to love even her own self. So, third is called as a feeling like a monster or outcast. So, feeling like a monster or an outcast means the poet may feel that what? Because of her pain, means because of her pain or because of her silence, she has been seen like Medusa, woman. Feel like what? She is also Medusa. So, it is directly compared as dangerous, hard, or unapproachable. Dangerous, hard, or unapproachable. To deep down, she is suffering. Right. So therefore, you can say the title Medusa is appropriate, isn't it? So the title draws a powerful connection between the poet's personal pain. Poets means that refer to Eunice de Souza, personal pain, and the mythical Medusa's curse. Mythical Medusa's curse. It suggests that we all may have a title of Medusa inside us, isn't it? So parts of us that feel unloved, frozen, or you can say silence. It also encourages the reader to rethink Medusa, not as a monster, but as a symbol of deep suffering and emotional isolation, isn't it? So The title, Remember Medusa, given as a question mark, is a nothing but a metaphorical question. Metaphorical means direct comparison question that sets the tone of the whole poem. It connects the poet's emotional state with the figure of Medusa, so making us reflect on pain, loneliness, and the struggle to stay human. Struggle to stay human when the heart turns cold, right? It is a perfect symbol of what? Inner suffering. So, which one is a perfect symbol of human suffering? That called the Medusa, isn't it? Now, let's go to the point and try to understand this point. So, remember Medusa by Eunice de Souza. My dumb box loyalty is the frozen heart, the frozen state of long aloneness, unpeopled even by terror. Now, if you see that the first line said, my dumb ox loyalty is. So the poet is a calling. The poet is calling her what? The poet is calling her loyalty, like that of a dumb ox. You understand the meaning of dumb ox? It means called as silent, heavy, and unthinking. It means she stayed, the lady stayed loyal blindly. She stayed loyal blindly. Loyal means what? Loyal towards her husband, loyal towards her lover, loyal towards her partner, right or not? So, and how loyal she is? Blindly, isn't it? Without even questioning, even if it hurts, even if you know that where he is going, can't ask. We're suffering, isn't it? So that's what is called as my dumb ox loyalty. So therefore, our loyalty is compared with the dumb ox. What do you mean by dumb ox? That's called as the ox, who is, who have no, no knowledge. It is completely guided, isn't it? So second is called the frozen heart. So her loyalty has also made her cold and emotionless, like ice, cold heart. So she doesn't have also heart to feel the emotion, isn't it? So the frozen state. So she stays also without emotion. She stays also unmoving, just like someone who feels nothing at all anymore. So of long aloneness. So this coldness and blank stare, this coldness and blank stare come from being alone for a very long time. So unpeopled even by terror, unpeopled even by terror. Line 5, which is stated that her loneliness is so deep, loneliness is so deep that even fear doesn't visit her. Fear doesn't visit her. Such a beautiful line. Fear doesn't even visit her anymore. It is completely empty. Right. So then it is stated, remember Medusa. So the poet remembers here who? The poet remembers makes the reader remind of Medusa. So who is Medusa? The mythical woman who to look could turn people to stone. Right. So neither she loves nor she is loved. Neither she loves nor she is loved. So who could not love or even herself? So Medusa here is described as someone who could not love herself, let alone others. Right? So the poet may be comparing herself to Medusa. So hurt, unloved, and lonely. Hurt, unloved, and lonely. So then it is stated, better the flailing, the angry words running through the brain, the sudden sorrow. Right. So this is something called as the line 8 to 8, 9, 10, 11, which is stated, better the flailing, the angry words running through the brain, the sudden sorrow. So the poet says it is better the flailing. Flailing means called as better to fight. So the angry words that called as a scream, feel the pain, right? So feel the pain. So speak angry words, and you can say that word burning through the brain and suffer clearly. And to be cold, silent, and numb inside. At least feeling pain means what? Feeling pain means you are alive. If that is not there, it means you are dead. So then, than letting go, than the fall, than letting go, than the fall, slow motion into that abyss. So it is a comparison. The comparison is what? Now, something is better than nothing, isn't it? So something is what? Now you feel. Your feeling is something. So what you are feeling, you may not feel joy, you may not feel love, you may not feel, you know, happiness or joyful or exuberant. But you feel what? The suffer. You feel nothing but the kind of a pain, which is better than cold, silent, and numb inside. Isn't it? She says that what? This pain is better than letting go, right? Than the fall. Because letting go means what? The meaning of letting go is called as falling slowly. Falling slowly into a dark place, right? So you are in a deep and scary. Instead of going into the deep and scary, it's better, suffer. So it means you are losing yourself completely in sadness or emptiness. So each life line of words, each life line of words, years in the making. Each life line of words, years in the making. It says that every line the poet writes, so comes from what? Comes from years of life experiences. Life experiences and pain. And her poetry is her survival. So because of her writing, because of her words, she survives. Right? She builds herself over a long period of time. Isn't it? So here you find out that the poet expresses how deep loneliness and emotional numbness are worse than even painful feelings, and how writing has helped her survive all of it. Isn't it? Now, understood this? Right. So, in that case, if we look into the poem, we find out that the poem beginning with the poet's description of loyalty as Rambam's loyalty, meaning a loyalty that is blind, silent, and heavy, like an ox. Right on. It doesn't question anything and just keeps. It doesn't question anything. Does it ask any question to the person who is, putting heavy things on it? Do you see the cart? Bullock cart? Bullock cart, two of the ox, right? Two of the oxes which are means, in front of it, and how they carry lot of things also. So here it is stating the same thing. Means it doesn't question anything and just keeps carrying emotional burdens, isn't it? Even they are suffering from pain, they are carrying it. So this loyalty has turned her heart cold. So they don't have heart, right? So and her face expressions, right, which are nothing but expressionless, right? Like someone who has been alone for so long that even fear or feelings have left her. You must have seen that when the tiger attacks, we see the kind of a pain in ourselves. But what is the equation of that means ox or bullock? Right? We cannot identify that. Only we find out the sound, isn't it? So then she compares herself. The poet compares herself to Medusa, character from Greek mythology. So Medusa is known for having snakes for hair and a state that could people to stone. But here the poet reminds us that what Medusa herself was lonely and unloved, and perhaps could not even love herself. Poet sees a reflection of herself in Medusa. Right. So finally, if you talk about that, means the poet stated about the main themes in the poem, it will be called as emotional numbness and loneliness, then pain of silent loyalty, pain of silent loyalty, inner suffering and survival, the need to feel even if it hurts, right? The need to feel even if it hurts, right? Using, you can say, writing as a way to heal, right? So you can say that the poem shows us that something carrying pain and feeling emotion is better than becoming emotionally dead, right? It also reminds us that myths like Medusa's may hide real human pain underneath. through her powerful and honest words. The poet shows us how writing can be a form of survival, isn't it? Now, let me point out some of the poetic devices given in the poem. The first is called as my dumb ox loyalty. Here you would find out metaphor, isn't it? Metaphor. So loyalty is compared to a dumb ox, so showing that it is a silent, heavy, and unquestioning. Second is called as the frozen heart, the frozen stare. So the frozen heart, the frozen stare compares the poet's emotional stare to being frozen, um, which means she has no warmth, she has no feeling left, isn't it? And third is called as each lifeline of words. Each lifeline of words. So it indicates our poems or words are called the lifelines. Poems or words are called lifelines. Second, it's called as the allusion. I hope you understood the meaning of allusion. Allusion is a reference to a famous person, story, or event, and here it is called as a remember Medusa, right? So is the allusion because this allusion reminds us to the Greek mythological character Medusa, who symbolizes emotional wholeness, isolation, and a woman turned into a feared figure, right? Third is called as imagery. If you talk about imagery, it is the use of descriptive language that creates a picture in the reader's mind. That creates a picture in the reader's mind. Like you can say the frozen heart, the frozen stare creates a visual image of someone who is emotionally frozen. The fall or slow emotion into that abyss, that also gives us nothing but a visual and emotional picture. The fall, slow motion, like into that abyss. So that shows a depression or emptiness. Even burning through the brain, that indicates strong sensory image. Then fourth one is called as a symbolism, right? Symbolism, that also Medusa is a symbolism, frozen heart is a symbolism, and abyss is a symbolism. Abyss means you understand? Abyss, that called as a complete emptiness, right? Or darkness or emotionless or depression. Then fifth is called as a personification. Personification means what? When comparison any of the object with the human's quality, isn't it? So human's quality to non-human qualities. So like each lifeline of words years in the making. And alliteration, that also you would find out alliteration is called the repetition of the sounds, isn't it? So when we said that repetition of the consonant sound at the beginning of nearby words, like you can say frozen heart, the frozen stare, perfect. Repetition of per sound gives a cold, hard feeling. Then the last which you can point out, enjambment. What is that enjambment? Enjambment is when a sentence or phrase runs from one line to the next without a pause. And you can find out many lines in the poem continue without punctuation, right? Which reflects the ongoing flow of emotions and inner struggles, isn't it? So, what we find out metaphor, illusion, then alliteration, personification, symbolism, enjambment, right? All such kind of things are given, right? So, finally, we can say that what? Despite the darkness, the ending of the poem offers a quite sense of hope. The speaker says, no, each lifeline of words, years in the making. This shows that what? Writing has been her way to survive. Each word is like a thread, keeping her from falling completely into the abyss. So it reflects the idea that language and poetry can be healing, even when emotions are too hard to express directly, right? And the poem, remember, Medusa, is a profound poem that explores emotional uh, isolation, inner strength, and the importance of expression, isn't it? So Eunice de Souza uses simple yet striking language and a powerful symbolism to show that what the silent suffering of a woman who has been emotionally hardened by life. The poem reminds us that what behind silence, behind coldness, right, there is often deep pain. And that's sometimes the one way or only way to survive is to hold into words. Hold on to words means change it into poetry or your writing. Isn't it?